Hello and welcome to the Steam Space Exploration Fest. So this is the latest Steam Festival running from today until the 9th of September. So a lot of space themed games are on sale. Some of them have demos, some free to play. One or two obvious ones are missing, but generally it's not just about space exploration, it's anything set in space, really. So let's start with some of the more well-known popular ones. We have No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is frequently on sale between 50 and 60%. This time it is on a 60% sale. Game is still getting updates even after so many years, like 8 years later. The latest update you can see over here. So yeah, you can just revisit this every few months to see whatever they have added. I tried a little bit, but I just couldn't get into it. Maybe it's the early for 1 or 2 hours that are not that exciting. But yeah, it is a vast game at this point, and you can see the reviews are mostly positive. I do remember when this was overwhelmingly negative and they've completely turned it around. So 60% off, which is like the usual lows these days. $23.99, $960 in India, 20 in the UK, 31 in Canada, 23.59 in the Eurozone. Next we have Stellaris. So this is a grand strategy game made by Paradox, set in space. So if you like their strategy games, Crusader Kings 2 and stuff like that, this is basically that thing but in space. Yeah, so similar concept, but yeah, very vast game once again. This is 75% off, $10, 549 rupees, 874 in the UK, 1324 in Canada, and 10 in the Eurozone. Next we have Ixion. So this is a game I bought late last year on Epic during their sale when they had the coupon and stuff. This is a city builder in space, basically. I've played a little bit of it, but it's a very good looking game, and you have to, you could say a little bit like Frostpunk, if you will. So basically a lot of management and, taking care of your cities and stuff like that. So this is on sale again for 55% off, 675 in India, 1574 in the US, 1327 in the UK, 20 in Canada, 1529 in the Eurozone. It looks pretty good, like I said. You have to manage everything. It's a lot more to do with survival and city building. Next we have Astroneer. So Astroneer is like a third person, a more budget version of No Man's Sky, like same concept, but it looks more cutesy and artsy, and it's been out for about just as long. Very positive reviews. Yeah, a lot of exploration. It looks as well very similar, but like a little more sort of cartoony, I guess. And this is 60% off, 600 in India, $12, £10, 16 in Canada, 12 in the Eurozone. Next we have The Planet Crafter. So this is a more recent game. Again, I have played a little bit. This is from last year. I mean, it released last year from early access, so overwhelmingly positive. Basically you go to Mars and terraform it. You have a similar mechanic to something like Subnautica. So you have a thing in your hand, a handheld, that can craft buildings and rooms and things like that. So yeah, it's a fun game. You go there and you can create all these things you can see here and make it habitable for humans, basically. Very nice looking game. There's also a demo available, so you can try that out. 30% off, 1679 in the US, 770 in India, 1399 in the UK, 22 in Canada, 1679 in the Eurozone. Next we have The Outer World. So this is like the first game where it's more of an RPG in space. It's basically Fallout in space. Not exploration in the sense that you're exploring space, but it is interesting. Basically you go to different planets, different cities, and interact in a normal RPG style, but it's set in space. But it's a pretty good game, and I almost finished this one a few years ago when it came out via the Game Pass. We have been given the Spacer's Choice version free from Epic, I think, so you may already have it. 50% off, $15, $8.49 in India, $12.49 in the UK, 20 in Canada, 15 in the Eurozone. So this is basically Fallout in space. Next is the Invincible. So another game I played last year. Devs had sent me a key. This is an adventure story-driven game, walking simulator, if you will. But the story is interesting, and Um, how do I give you some more information without spoiling? Because story is everything in this game. Um, you play as a bunch of scientists who land on a planet, and of course things go wrong. You play as Yasna, one of the scientists, and yeah, strange phenomenon on the planet. You have to understand what's going on and basically figure out where you are and what to do next. Uh, the location, the setting, everything looked amazing, and the mystery on the planet was also very mysterious. You are trying to figure out what was going on. The ending can be a little bit based on how you play the game, so you may get slightly different endings. So that was also interesting. I still feel the game is a little too expensive um, for what it is, so you may want to wish this game and pick it up later. I still think it is a good game, despite it being more of a walking simulator adventure style game, because the story is interesting, but the price is still a little too much. So this is 34% off, $1979, 989 in India, 1649 in the UK, 2639 in Canada, 1979 in the Eurozone. I don't remember exactly how long it took me to finish this game. I think 5 or 6 hours roughly. Yeah, average is also around that. So yeah, very good game, like I said, but if you're not into these style of games, you may want to skip this one. Next is Starbound. So Starbound is another popular game that's been around for a while. Open world survival crafting game in 2D. You could say sort of like Terraria and stuff like that. Again, very positive, 91% positive reviews. I have this, but I don't think I've played this. And this is 60% off, $599, $276 in India, $479 in the UK, $679 in Canada, and $559 in the Eurozone. Next is the Expanse, a Telltale series. So another game from last year. This was Telltale's return, and there's a TV show called The Expanse. So they basically used that as the template, I guess, and made a story before the events of the game. Um, Again, this one was interesting, a little different from the usual Telltale formula. I liked the fact that they had a little more exploration, so you could technically call it a space game, because Telltale games are all about the stories and the choices that you make. But in between, there were moments where you stepped outside and did a bit of exploration. The issue here was neither of those things worked well together, in my opinion. The story did not have too much there, and the exploration, while interesting, again, I wanted more of it because I liked the exploration side, but you get brief moments to explore and step outside, and it was very interesting. But again, it was a story driven game at the end of it. The episodes were also not as fleshed out, in my opinion. Basically, you could take a little time to complete it, but there wasn't that much there. There was the exploration side. If they had more purpose to it, it would have been much more interesting. Anyway, I'm just rambling at this point, but yeah, I felt like it had a lot of potential, but it did not deliver it. So this is 40% off, $15, $660 in India, $12.59 in the UK, $19.50 in Canada, and $14.70 in the Eurozone. Next, we have the popular Faster Than Light FTL, very popular old roguelike game, very difficult. It's one of those games that you'll find in the very difficult categories. I believe this has been given away by Epic right at the start. They first started giving away games, I think. So you may already have it. But if you don't, it's very cheap these days, 75% off, 114 in India, 349 in the US, 249 in the UK, 374 in Canada, and 337 in the Eurozone. Next is Deliver Us the Moon, another game I have played and I have completed this, but it's several years now. So this game is a story-driven game once again. I wouldn't call it a walking simulator because there are some gameplay elements, some minor puzzles to deal with. The whole setting was very interesting. I really liked this game. It's set in the year 2053 or something, where the entire planet depends on a resource that is only available on the moon. And they have a station on the moon that sort of sends the energy resource to Earth, and then something happens on the moon station and there's no communication, everything is cut off, and Earth is rapidly running out of resources, all the energy that they need. So a lone astronaut is sent there to find out what the hell happened to the moon colony and the moon station. That is the game here. Interesting, and I would definitely recommend this if you want an interesting short experience. I would say 4 or 5 hours. So this is 76% off, $599, $136 in India, $479 in the UK, $695 in Canada, $599 in the Eurozone. Next is another mention for Chorus. I mentioned this. This is on sale both on Steam and GOG for the same 80% discount. This is a flight combat style game in space. Not too many games of this kind seem to come out, so I like this game. And there's also a demo available if you want. 80% off, $499, $280 in India, $439 in the UK, $689 in Canada, $5 in the Eurozone. Next is Observation. So another sci-fi game, horror themed, was very popular when it came out. I think won a lot of awards and stuff. I haven't played this game. I'm also not sure if I have this game or not. I tend to mix up some of these games, but yeah, this was popular during the lockdown period. Mostly positive reviews here, and this is 75% off, $275 in India, $624 in the US, $524 in the UK, $812 in Canada, $612 in the Eurozone. Next is Space Wreck. So another interesting game that dropped last year, and this is a CRPG, but it's a very short game, and you can play this multiple times. Very interesting. I have this game, haven't played this, but I do want to play it at some point. It's actually sitting installed on my desktop, so I need to have a look. But you can see here the biggest little RPG in the world, post-apocalyptic retro space adventure with an extreme focus on role-playing and replayability. Inch wide, miles deep, intentionally short, yet surprisingly deep. So yeah, was quite popular when it first dropped. So definitely want to play this at some point, and you can at least wishlist it if you want to try this. This would be great, I feel, if you don't play CRPGs, because this is very short and you can try it out and see what the hype is about. Also a demo available. So this is 21% off, $1342 in the US, $608 in India, $1128 in the UK, $1737 in Canada, and €13.02 in the Eurozone. Next we have Tin Can. So this game was in a humble bundle a while ago, which is how I found out about this game, and I wishlisted this game. Again, haven't bought it or played it, but basically if you read the description, you'll find out why it's so interesting. You've barely managed to escape your exploding spaceship. Now in an old escape pod, you hurtle through space at the mercy of the cosmos. With no knowledge of the pod's complex systems, your life depends on the technical manual and your own wits. How long can you survive? So, survival style game. And this is scored 81% positive reviews. Also a demo available, 50% off, $10, $264 in India, $799 in the UK, $1149 in Canada, and $899 in the Eurozone. And then we have Space Trash Scavenger. So when I played the Expanse, I liked their story where they are basically space scavengers going into derelict ships and looking for valuable stuff. That thing was very interesting to me, so I thought, let's find out if there are other games like this. And this is like the closest thing I could find, a bit more sort of cartoony, I would say, not as serious as that game, but I was looking for something similar. So this is the game. So you are going in space, going into derelict spaceships, abandoned outposts, and just trying to see if there's anything useful you can. And I think this might be a decent game. It's still in early access, so again, it's on my wish list. I may try it at some point, but it's a smaller game, so I would still love to find another game with this theme, exploring space stations, derelict space station, abandoned outposts, things like that. So yeah, but yeah, if you are interested, this is available for 20% off, $624 in India, $16, $11.99 in the UK, $21.59 in Canada, and $15.99 in the Eurozone. So yeah, that's a bunch of games, space-themed games that are on sale that I thought I should mention. So I tried to keep this into like a more of a mixed category, all sorts of games here. I do want to make some more videos on this based on price or certain themes, because there are a lot of games that are coming in my mind that I want to add, but either some of them were not on sale or some of them did not fit the overall theme. But yeah, let me know if you want to see more. For example, Mass Effect game is not on sale, that whole series, even though they are frequently on sale. But yeah, there are other games that I can make separate videos and lists for. But yeah, that's it for this one. Thank you for watching. See you next time.